I'm gonna try to not make this chaotic, but we'll see.
Hey, my name's Alexis, and I like doing my makeup, and I wanted to show you what I look like on a soft glam night, or like a soft glam date night. So first I'm removing all of the oil off of my face with the ultra white pad, and then I use sunscreen as primer. You're getting like double SPF and it's a little sticky. I spray down with the Mario Badescu for moisturizer, and then I move on to my brows. Yes, I use an edge brush for my brows, not a spoolie. It blends a little bit better, and it just gives me a little bit more control of the hairs. And then I go in with a dark brown pencil from like your local beauty supply store or the dollar store, whatever works for you. Front, and then I just brush through with that brush again, not moving around the product but blending everything in. Next I use eyelash glue instead of eyebrow holder. It holds better. It's like when drag queens use glue sticks for their eyebrows. Like, my eyebrows don't move the whole day, and then I just brush them back into place, and it doesn't move the product. Next, I'm going in with my e.l.f. concealer in the second darkest shade, and I don't really like to do like 2 shades lighter because I don't really need to highlight my brow bones when I put highlighter on them, you know what I'm saying? But I just go in with the Anastasia brow brush, carve them out a little bit. I don't carve them out crazy, but I use like this soft brush so I get a soft line, so you're not looking like 2016 harsh brow. And then I pat, not rub, but pat that out, so it gives my brows some structure. And then I also just kind of blend in the middle, so the front of my brows has like that ombre effect. And then I use this Bare Minerals brush, and I blend down into my eyelid, like the upper eyelid, so there's no harsh lines. Next, I'm taking the e.l.f. Contour Bronzer shade in like the second deepest, darkest color, and I pop that on my lids because it's kind of shiny and shimmery, and it complements my eyes a lot. And I'm just blending that up into my upper lid, and then I put a little bit more on, and I blend it into my crease. This kind of gives like a little bit of a natural, smoky, sultry eye effect without using like really dark brown or really dark black. But it looks really natural, and it's glowy. So yeah, then I'm just blending. Take your time blending so it's not splotchy. And then I also use an orange from the James Charles palette just to make everything warmer, like cinnamon color, and really blend in from my crease to my upper eyelid area. Next, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Concealer. I don't wear foundation. This is a no foundation tutorial, and I just put it on my chin, under my cheekbones for definition, on my upper lip, and around my nose. Then I go in with this like flat head brush, and I blend. I don't rub, I don't spread, I just like lightly tap my face, and I don't move the product around because I like how full coverage this is with also looking really skin-like. So I'm just blending. Make sure to blend down to your neck. You don't want your neck looking a different color. And then I use this technique to carve out my cheekbones, and it's a rub or like a spread, and then you push down the powder, or not the powder, the concealer. I'll show you again, and I do the same thing when I bake. So you carve out your cheekbone, and then you blend it down. It's kind of better explained watching it than me talking, so. And next I just go in with a brush to remove any harsh lines from me carving out my cheekbones. So I don't like it looking all crazy. I take this ColourPop stick, and it's actually gorgeous to contour my cheekbones, and I make them a little bit higher. Like, you can see me saying like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. I contour my jawline and my chin and my cheekbones and my my forehead, just giving me more definition in my face, making things sharper. And I put a little bit on under my nose too. And you want to kind of make it slightly higher than your natural cheekbone line, just so you can get a more cat eye lifted effect in your face, so you can look like a little bit more snatched. And then I just take my time blending. This is all really about blending upwards and not dragging down the color, so you get the lifted effect. The more blending you do, the more flawless your makeup appears. Then I'm taking the same color that I put on my eyelids, and I'm just using that to emphasize like a bronzer and a contour again, really carving out my cheekbones, giving me like something to glow, so it's not just a flat contour color. And then I'm taking the same brush and I'm blending out the excess contour bronzer on my nose for more definition. Then I'm taking the ColourPop stick and the Anastasia brush, and I am lining up my nose with these thin lines. The thicker you make your lines, the thicker your nose is going to be, and vice versa, or the thicker it's going to look. Then I'm taking that same Bare Minerals brush and I'm blending out the lines, because I used to walk around with harsh lines on my nose contour and it is not cute. So just blend as much as you can. I'm taking that same ColourPop stick and I'm putting it in between my eyelid and dragging it down, not my eyelid, my inner lid, so I can have more definition. And then I'm using the e.l.f. highlighter that I use is like in sand, and I'm putting that everywhere that the light hits my face, and I let it dry for like 3 to 5 minutes actually, because the more it dries, the more coverage you get, or at least for me. And I'm blending that out with a fluffy small brush. One, this gives me really seamless coverage. 2, it doesn't move my makeup around like a beauty blender would. I'm taking that same, a different Anastasia brush, and I drag down the dot I made after letting it dry for 5 minutes, so I really get a chiseled out nose shape without having to do too much. And I blend the little dot on my nose, trying not to move any product, but still blending so it doesn't look like I have a freaking dot on my nose, you know? I'm just taking my time blending. I go in with the same Bare Minerals, and I use that contour shade a little bit just to carve out a little bit more of a rounded, cute button nose shape. And I also clean up the highlighter shade on my nose by contouring a little bit, just blending everything together. Then after that concealer under my eyes has dried for about 5 minutes, I go in with that soft, small, fluffy brush again, and I dab, I softly beat. I don't move, I don't spread stuff around. I just kind of blend the product seamlessly into the high cheekbones of my face, from concentrating under the eyelid, because clearly it's dark, and making it a little bit lighter. I spread it from the bridges of my nose where the contour line meets to the higher cheekbones of my face, but not like in that triangle shape. It does too much for me. It's not for my face shape. And then for extra highlight, because I wanted to do something a little bit more sultry with the eyes, I put more concealer on, and let it sit, and then I go in with the Fit Me powder. It's like in medium dark, and I start to bake. I pat it in for under my cheekbones, so I'm not moving the makeup underneath, like ruining all the work I just did. And it gives this really crisp but subtle line under your cheekbone, so you look super snatched. You can already see it coming together. I'm like, this is cute. Then I take a really tiny beauty blender and I carve out and bake the dot on my nose as well as the line, so I get extra definition without having to contour the crap out of my nose, you know what I'm saying? And make sure the line is straight, because if your line is off or your line is crooked, your nose is going to end up looking crooked, and that's not cute. Then after the concealer dries again under my eyes, I go back once more and I just blend that out so I can have a really bright effect. And I make sure to blend the edges of my nose so everything looks really seamless, and it brings out the contour and bronzer more that I placed on my nose. Again, this is all about blending techniques, really just trying to get super smooth transitions and not having any harsh lines. Then, because I couldn't find my big beauty blender, I'm taking this mini one and baking under my eyes with the same powder that I used under my cheekbones and on my chin. I also use this powder to bake the sides of my nose so we don't have to do any harsh contouring anymore, and it kind of goes with the natural look of the face as well as the sides of your nose. Don't forget the sides of your nose, because it gets oily for me right there and it'll be the first thing to rub off, so just making sure I'm getting all the crevices, you know what I'm saying? And also making sure the lines are straight, because again, your nose will look crooked if you're just kind of doing anything and not being precise. I just take that flathead brush and push it into my under eyes because they tend to crease more than the rest of my face. And then I take that same concealer that I put under my eyes and blend it up to my forehead, literally just 2 dots, because my forehead doesn't really need a lot of makeup. It would start looking crazy. And I blend it out with that same soft, fluffy brush. I use the same bronzer contour brush and I just blend in the highlight and the contour shade so everything looks super seamless and there's no like harsh circle line. And then I take the Fit Me powder that I'm baking with and I just tap it in really softly where I want it to be highlighted on my forehead. Next, I'm taking the Rare Beauty blush, and while I'm baking, I use this as my first blush color just to give me some like under blush tones, like some rosy tones, and I use a medium fluffy brush to blend that out up into pretty much my cheekbone area because I have a round face. Then I take a kabuki and I wipe off the excess that's been baking for about 3 to 5 minutes. And I brush, I think, pretty much everywhere, yeah. Next, I'm taking this powder. It's called a Speed Up, and it's for like paint makeup for Halloween, but I got it off of Amazon, and this powder is to die for. It's like better than the Laurier Mercier. This powder is to die for. It's better than like a lot of other powders I've used, and it's just a translucent powder, but I use it to set the rest of my face and even go over some of the places I've baked, just so they don't look so yellow and so they really set in place. I low-key swear by this powder, and it's only $6. If I can find it, I'll link it below, but it's really good for black girls. And then I just wipe off the excess with the kabuki again, making sure everything is rubbed off so I can see the final baking product. And I'm just blending out a little bit more so there's no harsh lines with the brush that I contoured with. And then I'm taking some bronzer from the James Charles extra large palette. It's like in a orangey brown tone, and I'm carving out my cheekbones so they don't look so flat, and giving some color back to my skin. I'm taking that on my contour area, up into my temples, a little bit on my forehead, and down into my jawline. And I'm making sure to get my ears so that my ears and my neck are the same color as the rest of my face, and it's pretty and it's seamless. You'll see. And again, I'm just lightly beating, like lightly tapping. We're not moving product anywhere. We're just adding to the canvas. Next, I'm mixing the orange color and the hot pink color from the James Charles palette, and I'm using them as like a sunset coral blush to give a lot of like cute color back to my face and kind of juxtapose the smoky brown on my eyes. And I'm just putting that on my forehead, on my cheeks, moving it up to like where my eye is, where my temples are. And I really like to put blush on my nose because it makes it look so button-like. And next, I'm taking the same bronzer shade that I used from the James Charles palette, and I'm just adding color back into my face, defining my nose, and dragging it up to the crease of my inner eye, just for more shape and definition within my face. Then I'm taking the same color. I feel like if you use the same color, your face looks more seamless because you're not doing too much. But I brush it lightly under my eyes before I put on mascara. Oh, and I forgot that I use a dark brown only on the outer corners of my bottom lash line to waterline, just to give it that smoky effect. And then I'm taking the same pencil, the beauty supply store pencil, and I'm lining my lips. I overline just a little bit, but it's your preference. Then I'm taking the e.l.f. Like blushy pink lip pencil, and I'm filling in. This is like my everyday to go shade, and it's super pretty. And then I'm just adding and blending those two colors together until it's to my liking. And yeah, I did my mascara off camera, and I'm using my mascara to put on my beauty marks because it lasts longer than eyeliner, especially if you put powder over it. Just a quick pro tip. And then for my final touches, I go in with the marshmallow spray from NYX, and it smells so freaking good. And then lastly, I put a little bit of silver bronze in my inner corners and on the button of my nose and on the bridge of my nose, just for like that complete snatched, glowy, soft glam, going out look. And that is the finished product. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys put on lip gloss, because I did. And I'll see you next time. Yeah. Thanks for watching.